Hi everyone, it's Mr. Baker here, and today we're going to be looking at courses and careers in physics. And we're going to answer this question: why should you do physics? Right, so I'm going to show you some different jobs to start off with, some jobs of the past and jobs of the future. So here's some jobs of the past: so telemarketing, travel agent, postal worker, legal secretary, social media manager, driver, factory worker. All of these careers are currently jobs that people do, but in future it's thought that they won't be done anymore by people. You might think social media manager, that's a bit of a weird one, but actually social media manager, we won't need people to actually manage our social media for us. We'll be expected to do that for ourselves. Now, jobs of the future might be things like healthcare worker, teaching professionals, which is good for me, 3D and food printing engineers, weather and climate control specialists, augmented reality architect, that sounds pretty cool, waste data manager, that doesn't sound quite so cool, and privacy manager. So all of these kinds of things might be the jobs of the future. So why are jobs changing? So jobs are changing because the population is getting older, basically, and more and more things are getting automated. So things that might have needed people to do them in the past won't. They might be done automatically, and AI will take over doing a lot of things. And so only the things that people actually need people for, like healthcare worker, like a teacher, or things where they're going to be managing those things that are doing things automatically, they're the kind of jobs that might be out there in the future. And like I said, it's down to these things here. So demographic changes, so the population is getting older, growing desire for a better work-life balance, changing working environments, people may be working more and more from home rather than going into the office, converging technologies across different disciplines, so in things like biomedical engineering, due to the increase of tech across all the industries, they might converge together, digitalization of production, fewer factory jobs are available, the greater need for people with tech skills to be able to operate the equipment and computers. There's going to be a growing scarcity of natural resources in the future. New businesses and ecosystems might shift towards Asia to do their business, and there'll be a decreasing scope for political action due to constrained public finances perhaps in the future. So all of these things will lead to a different working environment in the future. Okay, so what's that got to do with physics then? So studying physics helps develop many transferable skills that are essential for the workplace, whatever you decide to do. Job opportunities with physics, skill shortages in physics and affiliated subjects. So there's lots of those, lots of jobs specifically linked to physics. And I'll show you in a minute the shortages of jobs at the moment and why physics might be helpful for that. And one of the main reasons maybe for doing physics is that it keeps your options open rather than closing any doors. And again, I'll look at that with you. Here's a graph of some A-level subjects. So you can see on the far right hand side we've got music, then we've got Latin, then art, ancient Greek, moving along a little bit, we've got English, we've got Spanish, we've got French, and then suddenly this graph goes up. So what this graph is showing, that if you choose a subject on this graph from French and any subject to the right of that, you can see that there is maybe 3 or less subjects that specifically need those A-levels to get into degree or further studies after A-levels. Whereas if you choose subjects like chemistry, biology, physics and maths, then there are lots and lots. And for physics, let's look, it's 21 different courses that say specifically they need physics for you to be able to do them. And biology and chemistry and maths are similar as well. So by doing something like geography or English, yeah, there are some courses that say they need those subjects and you can't get onto those courses without doing them. But if you haven't got physics, then there are 21 courses that will say that you can't do those courses and go straight into studying those subjects because that you needed physics to actually do it. So you can see one of the great reasons for doing physics is that it keeps all of these doors wide open for you to do further things in the future. Okay, and have a look at this then. So these are some of the combinations with physics A-level and some of the possible jobs that you might come out of that. So physics and psychology might lead to neuroscientist or psychologist. If you do physics and music, it might lead to something like sound engineering. Physics and geography might lead to geophysicist, civil engineer. Physics and art could lead to computer game designer, architect. Physics and biology, medical, radiologist, biomedical engineering. Physics and PE, sports engineering. Physics and chemistry, material scientists, and there's plenty of others as well. Physics and design technology, things like product design, electronic engineering. So there's lots of really good links with physics and other subjects that leaves lots of jobs and careers open to you in the future. Right, so this is a list of 41 jobs These are the government shortage occupations in October 2019, and there's 41 different jobs there. So I'm going to take away all the ones where physics wouldn't be useful. So out of 41 shortage occupations, 27 are STEM related and would be supported by studying physics further. So you've got lots and lots of different things here, but the main thing to show you from this is that the vast majority of the shortage occupations, so these are the ones that we haven't got enough people to do, and so they would be easier to get jobs in these areas. 27 of them, it would be useful if you had some kind of physics qualification rather than not having it. Okay, so doing physics will support you in getting a job in lots and lots of different shortage occupations, as well as lots of other occupations as well. Okay, so I've talked a lot about different occupations and why you should do physics. Let's have a look at an A-level and what that actually entails as well. So A-level physics, these are the kinds of things. Now, I teach an OCR-A is what I teach, but it could be, these are the similar kinds of topics you'll do in any A-level physics. So you can see there's practical skills, there's foundations, forces of motion, electrons, waves and photons, a Newtonian world and astrophysics, and particles and medical physics. Let's have a little look at all of those different things to see if you might be interested in those. So practical skills goes throughout the whole of the A-level, and in all different A-levels you will have a certain number of skills that you have to tick off to show that you have been competent in those skills. And then you might get asked questions about those skills in your A-level exams. So they're the skills of planning, implementing, analysis, evaluation, and they're learnt through different key practicals you'll do throughout the A-level. Now, the foundations of physics is something that links throughout the whole of the A-level as well, and it's something that you just need to be able to do. So looking at physical quantities and units, you need to know things to do with scalars and vectors and measurements. Now, these practiced all the way through the A-level, but are really, really fundamental to your studying of the A-level. Forces of motion would include things that you will have seen in the GCSE, mostly. So motion, forces and energy, work, energy and power, materials, Newton's laws of motion and momentum. You'll have seen all of these things in GCSE pretty much. There'll be some extension stuff in the materials work you'll do, and some of the Newton's laws and motion stuff that will be slightly extended as well, but you'll be familiar with the majority of what's in this topic. Electrons, waves and photons. This is another year 12 topic normally, and this one will include things like electricity, so charge and current, which you'll be familiar with from GCSE. Energy, power and resistance, electrical circuits, all of those things you will have started doing at GCSE, and again you'll just be extended slightly into the A-level. The waves, you'll have done waves topics at GCSE, and quantum physics in A-level. That's when you actually think, hey, I'm doing some new proper physics, and it's great. So potential year 13 topics, this is for the OCR, but potentially for the other A-levels as well. Newtonian world and astrophysics will include things like thermal physics, circular motion, which you won't have seen that much of before in the GCSE, oscillations, again you won't have done that much in the GCSE, gravitational fields and astrophysics. So you can see that actually now we're getting on to lots and lots of new topics that you won't have done in year 12, and they build on your GCSE knowledge and the knowledge you'll have gained throughout year 12 as well. And then particles and medical physics, capacitors you won't have done before, electric fields you'll have touched on maybe potentially at GCSE, electromagnetism you'll have done a little bit, nuclear and particle physics you won't have done very much on at all, and medical imaging. So lots and lots of really brilliant physics here, really exciting stuff that you will do towards the end of the A-level. Right, so if you're still not sure whether physics is for you, then there's a couple of brilliant online resources. So this one here, SACU, I don't know if that's how you say it, SACU, I think it's just UCAS backwards, which is very clever. So this you'll be able to use to type in different combinations of subjects and see what kind of courses they might lead onto or what kind of jobs they might lead onto. Really, really useful. You'll just need to create a little login for that, but that's a really useful thing to do. And another one that's really useful for STEM in general, but physics as well, is this one, Future Morph. Really, really useful website with lots and lots of information about lots of different things, including careers. So that's one to check out as well. Okay, so that's been all about courses and careers in physics. I hope that's been slightly useful for you. I've been Mr. Baker, and I will see you next time. Thanks very much.